What going on? Thanks for joining us on a different day with Ja. We're back here on another one. Once again, I want to always thank Lee Monroe for giving your boy a chance because, for one, I didn't have to go through the regular channels. This is not the regular station. I didn't have to do an internship. She just recognized what the boy had going and she put me on, and I'll forever be grateful. But thanks for coming to a different day with Ja. We got a great episode for you, or a great broadcast, I should say. And I have my beautiful 17-year-old daughter here with me. Keep that in mind. She's 17. I know she sounds a little younger. She's here with me, and we're going to have what I affectionately have called a segment, what I'm calling a chat with Dad. Say hi. Hello. My name is Lisa. So I take it easy. Take it easy on my sweet girl, man. We are here and we have a conversation that we were having because we just came back from Orlando, took a trip together to Orlando because we were visiting with some friends and had a little hookup and a beautiful time down in Orlando, right? That's about a 6 hour drive from me. And we were talking about the age gap. I hate to call names. I don't even know the guy name, so I'm gonna call it, but there was a conversation topic that was being discussed via Facebook. You know, we heavy in the VI Facebook streets. And there was a conversation about, dating someone younger than you. So I wanted to see how my daughter felt about that particular situation. And I think the conversation is a much needed one. Please, people, keep in mind that this is our opinions. Do not hold role responsible for anything that we're about to say. This is our opinion. And we're just really talking. Yo, Juliana, thanks for checking in. Juliana Derima, good afternoon, good afternoon. So keep in mind that you can tune in to the Facebook live stream. We know you love Row FM. 1013 Row FM comes blasting onto your radio. Thank you for listening there. But now we also have what Sai calls Row FM Plus, which you can live stream through Facebook as well. And you can also join us through the TuneIn app. All right. So let's have this conversation for everybody to chime in. Okay, so let's start here because I don't think we disagreed, did we? No. So it wasn't a disagreement. I just love exchanging ideas, and let's start from where we have started, which is basically when you're in school, right? What's an appropriate age range you think, Alyssa? 1 to 2 years, maybe three at most. So you know what's interesting about that 1 to 2 year thing? 1 to 2 years ain't nothing once you're out of school. Once you're considered an adult, that's not a big deal for you. So 1 year basically is a grade level. Mhm. 2 years you're up two grade levels. 3 years you think they push it. Why do you think they're pushing it after the 3 years? Because as the age gap starts to grow more, the maturity levels do start to like get bigger. Because once you hit 4, I don't think you can date. You don't even. So a freshman, you're saying, should not be dating a senior, even though they go to the same school. Um, that's too much. Hmm. Okay. So now a freshman dating a senior, that's what, about 3 years age difference, right? That's usually 4. About 4, you would say? Okay. So 14 to what, 17? Yeah. Okay. So now that 4 year age difference, would it make a difference if they're both over 18? If they're both over 18, at this point, they're both adults and are able to make their own decisions. Okay, so we also had touched on something else. Now, which one of between boys and girls, which one matures mentally faster? The women. So women or girls, they mature about 3 years faster than boys mentally. So, but you think the issue is mental maturity? Is that right?
Mental maturity, and also it's still weird to try and date someone that's like really younger compared to.
So, what makes it really younger?
Well, for example, like I said, age gaps start to get more extensive as time goes on because one person could try and pursue the other, and it would seem weird or I don't know, just I don't know what adjective I could use, but it doesn't seem right for that to even be happening or for someone else to be a bystander to see it.
Okay. So we gonna drop something for the listeners, right? To just think about. And don't forget that you can also tap in on our Facebook live stream. If you're listening on the live stream, please go ahead and share the live. So question for you and question for the audience. We're gonna go into it when we come back from the break. But when when you're dating someone, right, while you're in school, let's say you leave school. So you're about to graduate. You're the 1 or 2 years ahead, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you turn 18, you age out. What should that person do? So that's the question that I'm gonna pose to you, and I'm gonna pose to the audience. When we get back, we're gonna discuss a little more. Don't forget, if you for right now we're working on the call-in feature, but you can go ahead and tap in on the Facebook live stream. Please go ahead and chat with us. Let us know how you feel. We'll be right back with a different day with Ja after these messages. You want to start? Chat. Why you think about this topic? So, like we were talking about, we discussing, the age difference. So when you 1 or 2 years ahead, you with a girl, you in school, and then the other person graduates. What should they do after that? What do y'all think, man? Because that's something that y'all gonna see how my daughter feel about it. But she's like that 18 age range, right? Is like, are you automatically adult for you? Because you still have teen in the name. You're still a teenager, really. And we know at 18, are you really that mature for you? And also consider that girls or women mature about 3 years ahead of boys. Juliana says, I feel like for legit issues, they have to break up. Can you tell us when you say legit issues, what registers as a legit issue for you? For legal issues? So she changed it to, see, that was a oopsie. So for legal issues, they have to break up because, once you turn an adult legally, that brings things in that legally, that brings what could possibly be some, law and order, dun dun, special victims, Benson and Stabler type vibes. So if you as a parent, right, you know that your child is dating this person while they're in school, they're about to go off to school themselves. Again, they're still a teenager. You knew about this. How would you feel about it? Would you then want them to break up because of the legal ramifications? Or I mean, I think it happens more often than not. Personally, I was in the I was in high school and I was dating a girl that was 1 year younger than me, and I went off to the Navy. So what would have been the correct thing for me to do at that point, you think? Tell us in the chat, man. Talk to us. And as far as what's legal and what's not, how far do we take it? Because legal and right, morally, is that always the same thing? I think we've learned that it isn't, right? Sometimes what's legal and what's moral. Sometimes legally you get into trouble and they have to hit you with a mandatory sentence. That's legally right. But for what the person did or the circumstances or whatever, this isn't normal circumstances. Do we go along with what's legally right at that time? Every situation is different. So what are you thinking there, Alyssa? Juliana was saying that I feel like for legal issues, they have to break up.
I agree with her because at some point when it comes down to stuff like this, it gets to a point where it's like, would you rather, like, it's not to say that you can't get back together with this person, but would you rather lose your relationship for just this amount of time until they turn that age? Or would you rather get into some legal trouble that you can't get off your record?
So sometimes I wonder too if the reason people get into legal trouble is not necessarily the people that knew this was going on, right? Sometimes the legal trouble comes from, or it may come from somebody who didn't know that they were dating from long. And in the islands, things gets treated a little differently too, because everybody knows each other. I think sometimes it's a lot less likely that this will be taken care of in the legal system, in a legal way. So you have found out after we talked that 3 years mentally, on average, is girls mature faster. Does that make a difference at all?
To me, no, it doesn't. Because while you can mature faster, like mentally, that doesn't mean that you matured physically. Because you're still a child at the end of the day, and they're still the adult in the situation.
Technically, legally, yes.
Legally, they are an adult.
So you making 18 soon, right? You making 18 soon. This month here coming. So basically, you're gonna be crossing a threshold. You're gonna be making one step, and physically, mentally, you may not feel any differently, but you're gonna be considered legal. You think you're gonna just be like you're gonna change all of a sudden? You're gonna be different? I'm not, but I know that I'm gonna have to eventually because I'm taking on more responsibility as I get older. Okay. Do you believe that 18 is an adult? You're not completely there, but you're also still trying to get used to fitting into these new pair of shoes that you have. Okay. That's fair. A new pair of shoes, the adult shoes. We coming back just now. Hold up. We're about to come back. But Juliana says you're right. She's with you. For the legal issues, you need to do the things the legal ways. I ain't mad at that. I don't think you're wrong at all. Yep. That was Chopper by Byron Messia and Little Baby. So once again, Thanks for coming back to a different day with Ja. We're live streaming on Facebook Live through 101.3 Row FM, we VI's Facebook page, and on Same Difference. And if you can't get it because you're out in the States, don't worry, don't fret. You can still get on the TuneIn app and you can listen live there also. You just can't enjoy the premium package of Row FM Plus. You know what I'm saying? You can't give us that live feedback, but that's okay. We're working on the call-in feature also. But if you're just joining us, what me and my daughter Alyssa here was talking about, she's 17, and we had a conversation that I thought was interesting, and I think more people should have. It's the age gap conversation. So before we went to break, the question that I posed to her and the audience was, if you are dating someone, they're 1 or 2 years ahead of you, or you're that person, right? And then you age out. You graduate from school, you're 18 now, you're legally an adult. Should you go ahead and end that relationship for the legal reasons? So if you can, go ahead and tap in on Facebook and let us know what you think. But Alyssa, the people couldn't hear you on the airwaves as we went to break. So tell them what you think about that.
Can you repeat the question, please?
So if two people are in a relationship during school, they've been together, there's a 1-2 year age gap, and one of them turns 18, they graduate or whatnot, should they maintain that relationship?
For legal reasons, I believe that that relationship should be ended, at least for the time being, until the other person that is younger is that age.
So now, if you feel that way, right, do you think they should not have relationships that far away anyway, just to avoid this in the future? Because that's something we got to think about, right? You may, to avoid the heartbreak later on down the road, you just go ahead and stay out of relationships with people that aren't, while you're in school at least, that aren't several years behind
That would be better because I don't see why you'd be dating someone anyway.
you.
But
You don't see how you'd be dating somebody so far back.
with what you just said, yeah, that's weird. Because
Okay.
you're telling me that you're dating someone that's like, I don't know, still in middle school, about to get into high school.
What? Okay, so you're saying you're going even further back now with the 1 or 2 years. Like maybe I guess y'all met in the neighborhood and you 1 or 2 years ahead. You think that's weird too. The separation of schools by a grade.
I think when someone's in another school, like if you're in middle school, this person's in like high school, they just got into high school. I do think that is weird.
Mm. Okay. Okay. Hey, Michael Evan. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thanks for checking in. We appreciate you tuning in, man. And we appreciate our Raw FM sponsors like Via. Thank you for keeping the station going. We appreciate you. So now they have ended the relationship, right? Because of legal issues. Now that person, they one of them or both of them decide they're gonna wait. You think that's a good idea?
If that's the route that you want to go with your relationship, you can do that.
So you've never liked someone that was like a year or so younger than you.
I don't like anyone that's younger.
You don't play that game at all. Okay. Do you have an opinion on um dating while adults? How far of an age gap would you date as an adult? You're about to turn 18. What's the furthest?
1 to 2 years.
So even as an adult, you ain't going no further than 1 or 2 years from now.
this is my personal preference.
Okay.
Because while there's other people out there that'll be like, oh well, I just turned 25 and I want to date someone that's like 40. That that's what you want to do, but it's not what I want.
Okay, that's fair. That's your personal preference. There's nothing wrong with that. And yes, we acknowledge that there's nothing legally wrong with that either. It's all about personal preference, right? Once you're an adult, you could do what you want. If you're happy with it, go ahead and roll with it, man. As long as that person makes you happy, cool. Now, on this particular conversation, on the VI Facebook trend that I was watching, there were some people who were saying they should hold the parents accountable, which I agree. Parents need to watch their children. They need to be active parents, and they need to be paying attention to what's going on with their children, right?
Mm.
So, what is your viewpoint on the parents being involved in the child's relationship?
Yes, I do think that parents do need to be involved in their child's life just in general. But when it comes down to their relationships and stuff, they also need to be understanding of the fact that their child isn't always going to be out there about what's going on in said relationship. And
Mhm.
and the parent also needs to understand that they can't hover over their child 24/7 to see what's happening in the relationship, because they're going to either start hiding stuff or you're going to start to seem overbearing.
So, as a parent, I want to make it plain. Yes, parents, give yourself some grace, right? We cannot be perfect. We're not perfect human beings, so chances are we won't be perfect parents. There's no guidebooks, there's no guidelines. Sometimes we come up in situations ourselves where our parents didn't know what they were doing. So a lot of the times we're doing the best that we can. But parents can get held responsible for if they're not paying attention to their child. You know who can't get held responsible? That child. I think it's important that we acknowledge that children cannot be held responsible. Children cannot legally consent. That is the basis of this whole thing. Like when we're having these discussions, right? We need to acknowledge children cannot consent. That's why it's always on the adult. Even though you may have just turned 18 and you had the relationship for long or whatever, when you get in front of a judge, they will not hold that child responsible. It will be you. Now, also we had talked about a little bit about what was it? The the adult, all right? What if they don't know? What do we do? Because those types of things have happened. People lie. I won't say children lie, people lie. So if the person doesn't know, first of all, you need to look, find out, do a background check, do what you got to do to keep yourself straight in this situation. Because again, people do lie, but there have been people who have been lied to about the age, and we were trying to think about some ways of how you could verify. Because most minors, I don't know, they could let me know in the chat, right? But most places, minors don't have to carry a driver's license or none of that stuff. So, how do you verify someone's age?
I personally thought that as like an idea, you could always use an ID or have an ID verification thing, whether it be on the actual app that they have that implemented. So there's like a separation between age groups and stuff.
Mhm.
Or you personally yourself could actually try to verify if this person is who they say they are by like I don't know. We could use FaceTime, but that's also still iffy.
Yeah.
You could do a lot, but you could also do so little at the same time.
Oh, and also the reasoning that look at how she looks, that's not a valid excuse. All right, that's not enough. Okay. So this is a serious topic. So let's keep it cutesy. Let's keep it demure. Let's reel it in a little bit. You say you would never date anyone even a year or two younger than you. Um, so they have to be in your age range.
Mhm.
Um, have you ever associated with people? Do you even associate with people that's younger than you? Like y'all run in the same circles, you play video games together, you on the same apps, any of that?
Yeah, that happens, yes. But whenever I'm in those situations or groups, I could never personally see myself in a relationship with any of these people
Okay,
because I'd like to keep it like how it is because I enjoy it how it is.
okay. Have you ever had someone younger than you say that they like you?
Yes,
Okay, and you shut that down quick.
I didn't like it.
You didn't like them anyway. Okay, okay. Easy fix. Problem solved. And now that we got into the online topics, right? You have some sites that you're into that you love to be on. I don't know if you still do the quotive thing because there were
They
some
shut it
issues with
down.
that. It became toxic. But you've shown me some things where like it was online bullying, and you even asked me, "What do you do?" Right? And this is a hard topic for me as a parent to navigate because for one, I didn't come up with social media. It wasn't until after I was an adult that social media became a thing. And I'm gonna be honest, social media, online bullying used to be worse back in the day. It used to be worse. If you ever been in a Yahoo chat, if back in the days of Hotmail and IMing and stuff like that, listen, this ain't even online bullying compared to what used to go on there. Yahoo, whew, it was different. So I feel like no young boy can style me. No young boy can flex on me, online bullying type vibe. But I do recognize that even bullying has changed because before online, you had to do it in person. And when you did it in person, you had to be able to beat the person up. Not advocating that, but that was the only place that it could happen. They had to physically be there to really do something to you. Now, with online bullying, the bullying does not end. So please, for one, again, parents, check on your children and make sure that the apps that they're using, make sure that they're not being bullied because it's bad when you gotta deal with it in school. Then you come home and they're still bullying you online and stuff like that. There, so keep up with it as best as you can. I know sometimes as parents we ain't up on all the lingo and stuff like that. We ain't up on the sites, or you got children even doing things where they're renaming the apps on their phones. So you don't know that they're even on this app because it names something else. So even if you go to the phone, it's under a different name. As far as online bullying, Alyssa, what what has been your experience with it? Have you ever you could tell the truth, it's cool. Have you ever engaged in online bullying in any form?
For the first question, I would say that my experience with it is like an on and off thing where it's like brief conversations with people.
Hmm.
Because I remember I was playing this Roblox game and I'm like new to the
Okay.
game and I just did the tutorial, so this is my first game playing it.
Uh-huh.
And because I play on like my phone with Roblox, the controls are really weird. So I'm trying to navigate what's happening, and in the chat I'm seeing like, oh, you you're really bad at this game. Oh, you need to press Control C, oh whatever, so you can log out. It gives you a speed boost.
Like they're
And
taking this thing serious.
and I was playing as like it's like a Dead by Daylight type of game where it's like one person versus 8 others.
Hmm.
I was the hunter in this case, so I was confused on what was going on. I'm looking at the chat and I'm like, "Are you 8?" Because why are you taking this so seriously? If anything, this is making the game easier for you to play.
But they wanted a challenge. Is that what it was?
I guess so. And situations like this, it makes people want to leave communities if they even just got there, because the community itself is already bad and showing that it's not a fun place to be. Because if this is my first ever time playing the game, how am I supposed to learn how to play the game if I can't even enjoy it?
So do you think that, as far as the online bullying, do you think that there's people that actually gang up? They enjoy doing that. They enjoy finding people to bully online.
I've seen it, because on multiple different occasions, I'll be online scrolling and see someone getting harassed by like someone's group of friends, or hear about someone that got put into a random group chat and basically got like sent something really terrible by multiple different people that they didn't know. It happens so often to the point where it's like, is the internet really as safe as most people try to make it out to?
It isn't at all. It's not. The internet is not a safe space. And I did make a video one time about it, just to tell people, and especially men, right? Please be careful when you go online to vent, because the internet is not a safe space. I don't know. I don't know if it ever was, really. Like, once social media became a thing and everyone could say whatever they wanted, because when they came in, when social media started, there were no, like, you can't do this, you can't say that. Like, I think it's gotten better, actually, with anti-bullying and stuff, especially on TikTok. Anti-bullying comes up and they'll get rid of comments and hold comments and do all this other stuff. Before, there was none of those controls, and the internet was the wild, wild west for real. So, what? How do you deal with online bullying? Like, if you saw it, have you ever actually intervened for someone on there?
I've intervened at times, yes, but even then, with there's not much I can really do if I have to intervene in a situation, because I don't know what this person is having to go through on their end of the phone.
True.
Because I could say like, "Hey, stop this," and they'll be like, "Ah, okay," and then go into the person's DMs and start harassing them there. I can't see that, and I don't think anyone else can unless they report it. What chances are, if it's on Instagram, they're moderation.
You said that the Instagram moderation doesn't work?
It's really bad on there, because people will simply like change a letter and put it in a different dialect or something, and now it doesn't pick it up.
I get, yeah. People have gotten smart and change words, or they don't say the word that will get them banned. Yeah, so that's very true. Um, I find it funny that the more we try to do better and get more, and the smarter that we become, it seems like the meaner we become. I don't know. It seems like the further distance we get from social interaction in person, the more detached we are from, hey, that's a real person on that other end. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what that person has been through. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know what their household is like. Their environment might be bad. And then you throw this in and you don't know them. Plus, like you said, it's just a game. Why they so why are they going on like that over a game? So you have a game, a favorite game that you play all the time. Have you ever lost it on that Splatoon or somebody because they ain't playing right, or they don't? Y'all be doing festivals and all of this stuff on Splatoon. So you ever went sick because like your teammate made you lose or something? Keep it real.
Yes, because it's the games I really like the most are the ones that make me the angriest. Because I know how to play the game, but I can't confirm that with the rest of my teammates. Because for all I know, this could be their first game. And I'm glad that Splatoon doesn't have voice chat with the other teams. Because
that's a smart move on their part. So that's one thing. Their voice chat, Like I be on TikTok, and TikTok will show you anything. They Yeah, you get your algorithm, but they'll show out some sponsored stuff or something about a game, and I'll be scrolling, and then you'll get on this side of TikTok dealing with games, and like you hear how these man will go in. Like there was this pirate game or something they were advertising, and it was some young guys who were on the other ship, and they started bullying an older dude, and he's like, "What is going on?" Because they telling him they're going him, and you know what I'm saying. And I'm like, "Yo, is it really that serious?" I've never been a gamer myself. Would you consider yourself a gamer girl?
Not a gamer girl, but I say a gamer.
Yeah, you're a gamer. All right. So you have lost it because somebody wasn't playing the game right. How did that go? Did you catch yourself? Did you feel a way about it, or it was like you shouldn't have been messing up?
I usually don't catch myself when I end up getting like angry over Splatoon or something. So I'll like just get out of the match and I'll go and block the person and then like sit there for a bit and then keep playing later.
So you have to take some time away from the game to like get yourself recentered because this match done threw you off so bad.
Yeah. And it's usually for anarchy, which is like a ranked mode, which is competitive.
Mm. Okay. I don't know. I don't take things serious, and when I play games, it doesn't matter what the game is. I'm playing for fun, even if I'm losing, because generally I'm bad. So I don't take it serious anyway. But I've seen where people will, break their screen and throw the controller. They got buyback controllers and things like, yo, y'all wilding. It can't be this serious for no roadblocks, dog. For roadblocks and Splatoon. Okay. Yo, I got in hand, Darren. Hey, thanks for joining us. Just to recap, so the first conversation we were having was about the age gap conversation. And thanks for tuning in again to 1013 Raw FM. And thanks for tuning in to A Different Day with Jack. So the first part of the conversation was the age gap conversation. We didn't go too deep into it, just basically for school age children. I'm here with my daughter, Alyssa. Say hi again.
Hello.
Alyssa there with me. Now we're talking about online bullying. If any gamers in the chat, I need you to tell me, have you ever been online bullied? Have you ever engaged in it? And have you ever thrown a controller, or have you gotten so mad that you damaged something? So with the online bullying thing, what do you think, me as a parent, what do I need to know?
What are you asking exactly?
Like as a parent, right? So I could maybe, so remember, we speaking to thousands of listeners out there. A lot of them are parents. What would you tell them to look out for with their child? Maybe?
I would say if, like, for example, your child seems like kind of hesitant to go to school for whatever reason, you should probably make it an easier place for them to talk to you about what's going on instead of just being like, oh, well, you'll be fine. It's school.
So that's a good point. If you see that your child is avoiding going to school, that could be a red flag, and that's a valid one. That's a good one. So thank you for that. So if your child is like they're having all these tummy aches, or you know what I'm saying, they're making up all these excuses, that's something we should look out for. Okay. Jamal Burke said about the game playing. I have seen my little cousin start cussing over those games that I had to ask myself if 2K basketball ever got at me like that. Yo, Jamal, has it ever gotten you like that? I see how people are going on the court. Like it gets heated on the court. I could more understand that because it's a physical game, and people be fouling and stuff like that. But on a video game where you could like restart, has it ever gotten you there? Tell the truth. Jamal Burke, you ever throw the controller? So what's some other red flags that we need to look out for as parents?
maybe your kid is spending a lot of time just on their phone or not socializing as much as in person as they usually would, or that you would think that they should be.
So here's something that I have noticed. What if you try to check on your child, right? How can we do this better? We try to check on our child. We go, hey, you've been in your room for a while. You want to go out, go do something, or like, are you okay? And they say, no, I good. You really can't tell because they locked away in their room. You really can't tell if they're depressed. You can't tell if something is going on with them. What can we do as parents to try to connect on a better level? If you have an answer for that, what do you think?
I think the closest answer that I could give that would make the most sense would if your kid see, isn't exactly socializing, you could always give them the chance or the choice to go out somewhere with you or to come downstairs to watch something because you're at least letting them out of the room. And if they say no, then they say no.
Okay.
It's up to them to make the choice.
Okay. That seems fair. So I'll take that answer. That seems fair because there's only so much you can do. Um, there's only so much you can do, right? As a parent, again, we try to do the best that we can, and sometimes, like every child is different, you know. Children respond differently. It don't matter if they're twins. You could have a set of twins and you try to reach one, and it's easier to get through to one than the other. And like, so it's kind of hard to navigate. Jamal Burt said he's never thrown the controller before, but literally turn off the game and get back to it later. But playing online be crazy. I'm sure playing online be crazy. I have tried, you know. I'm not good at gaming, man. I'm not a gamer because I'm not good at it. And then the trash talking is funny to me because like I don't feel no way that you telling me I'm trash because I knew this when I started. Usually it's because somebody asked me to play. I come on and I try a thing and I don't know what going on really. And as fast as these games will be moving these days, it ain't make no sense no more. But this one said you have to come back to it later. So a lot of people are gamers, right? Here's what I don't understand. You're a gamer. This is your way of relaxing and you love it and you play for hours and hours. But you don't get into a situation where you so stressed that you crash out and broke something. You done broke your console or your controller or your TV screen or something, or you had to literally turn the game off because this game too crazy now and come back later. Like how is this both a stress reliever and a sense of stress? I guess I never really understood that, did it, man? Like, how does that work? That the same, well, if you ever been in a relationship, right? I guess that makes sense. You ever you ever been in a relationship? You have had both a stressor and the person you go to relieve stress. So it's okay. It all makes sense when you talk relationships. I get it now. So once again, thank you for joining. If you're new to a different day with Ja, usually we have conversations. We try to keep it light, and we have different topics that we touch on. It's Sunday, so we try to maintain that Sunday beach vibe. We don't want to get too deep into anything that would make Monday harder for you. So if that's the type of vibe that you want, I would recommend that you tune in to a different day with Ja every Sunday from 4 to 6. Later on in this show, we're going to have the one and only DJ Yessai and everybody's favorite mainlander, a fellow teammate. If you haven't tuned into Bush Tea in the Morning, you need to with DJ and DJ SI. A fellow teammate, Raven Scott, is coming through. We got some topics we want to touch on there. Hopefully, DJ SI, I don't know. I don't think anybody knows much about this man. And I really want to ask this man some questions. because he usually does all the interviews, which he's amazing at, by the way. I've really been impressed by how this man interview. He does voices, like all type of thing. The man is really talented. He's gonna be on here with Raven Scott. Everybody loves her viewpoints and her perspectives, and she has a lot of experience because I just found out that she used to be like a circus performer, and it's like she's lived 100 lives already in with her young self, which is impressive. I hope I pronounced his name correctly. Yokabed Harris says, it's about the thrill, I guess. My kids have the living room sounding like a boxing match arena. So when kids get quiet is when I actually get concerned, especially when it's multiple of the children. But she said it sounds like a boxing match arena when she playing in there. So Yokabed, Jokabed, Miss Harris, that's what we're gonna call it. Miss Harris, when the children start going off and they're making all this noise, is that their way of showing they're having fun, or they getting lit for real, like they getting upset? How can you tell, or you just wait until you hear something crash? Because there's some parents out there, they don't say nothing until some noise get made. You know those folks that when they're watching the kids, they're really watching TV and then they wait until they hear something. I've done that before. Sometimes you get tired. So patience. Nakia Francis, hey, happy Sunday, happy Sunday. Sunday fun day, if you know what I'm talking about. Nakia, you still live home or what? Man, I girl get her own plane, so me ain't even know where she lives. She's a world traveler. She lives in the world. Miss Harris says it's both, and I usually go check when I hear a battle. She says she ain't going to that kid's room until she hears something crash or somebody getting cussed. That's what's up. Hey, as long as staying quiet, sometimes it's like that's cool, man. And everybody be needing a break sometimes. If that's how you want to relieve your stress, go ahead. Isn't Darren says isn't excited part of the kids' experience? Um, kids kids are excitable because they're younger than us, and a lot of the stuff is pressure to them. Because quite frankly, when I even look at some of the games that they be playing, I be wondering like, well, how is this interesting? But hey, if it's good for you, then cool. But we love for them to be excited. What I would like to see more of for children is that they're more active, though. That's something that'll concern me. Are your children being active? You check what I'm saying? Nakia said, yes, I'm here. Oh man, not unfortunately. She home in the VA. Oh, that's a shame. Don't say unfortunately, man. So, cause sometimes I be seeing you and are you living it up just by going to the beach. You in the States and you'd miss the beach, you'd miss the food. Nakia says, same here. As long as no one is crying, I'm not going. You check? It'll be like that sometimes. And I ain't even mad at you, man. It'll be like that there sometimes. When the children them playing, just leave them alone sometimes and let them have at it. Sometimes, like, and you listen for specific sounds when you're babysitting sometimes. Like, if the TV ain't fall, I ain't here crying, nobody ain't getting box. Yeah, they're gonna survive, man. Because we used to just go outside and be out. And you know what I'm saying? As long as the street lights ain't come back or you ain't thirsty, and even if you get thirsty, you might need to just get a hose because if you come back inside, you ain't going nowhere. You know that type of way. Nakia says, who is a nurse, if I'm not mistaken, please correct me. She says juvenile diabetes is on the rise. They need to be active. Correct. Them children need to be more active. They have so much more they can do inside, but we need to do our best to get them out because I don't like to see children just sitting around for days and days. Meaning like that. But then I understand too, sometimes it's hard to get them to go out. You ask them to go do something and they ain't really into it. And after you ask a certain amount of times, it's like, man, what I'm saying? Fine. Just stay in your room and let me know you're alive every couple hours. For the parents, I got to ask, how do you find balance with getting rest and being attentive with your kids? Send them to the grandparents. Get the grands involved. That's how you don't get rest. Nakia says the beach is nice, but you can't be there 24/7. Everyday life is just draining here on St. Croix. We're actively working on relocating. I'm really sorry to hear that, man. And she's a nurse practitioner, and home needs nurses and nurse practitioners and stuff like that. Really sorry to hear that you're planning to leave. Um, I hope that things do change home, and it requires a community. So we all really need to get involved for real, man. Nakia says schedules. We have strict schedules for screen time and outside on TV. I find that the schedule thing never really worked for me because I've never been a schedule guy like that. And it'll get hard when you co-parenting too, to like, because you might create a schedule, or you and the person you with create the schedule, but you both have to enforce it. That's the thing. Like, because you're not going to be there all day every day. So it really is teamwork, especially like if y'all co-parenting, one in one house, one in the other, right? And you got a schedule when they come over there, but they on a different schedule at the other home. That'll get tricky sometimes, but it's something that's necessary because children do crave structure and stuff like schedules and stuff like that. They literally do not want to just be free range children. Nakia says every day I have a 30-minute powwow with each of my children just to catch up and see what's happening. And checking in is important too. Yes, it takes a lot to staying on task, for sure. It takes two. It takes a village, really. Darren says people wanting to leave is a symptom of how we are falling on so many levels, and we have to put it on lack of productivity on the three branches of government. You know what I like to say? There's four branches of government: legislative, executive, judicial, and the people. That's what I'll say, because we can't just hold those three branches accountable if the community is not actively engaged and involved as well. I'll say this, and it's kind of depressing, but really nobody's coming to save the community. The community has the power to, and it should be working to save itself for real. Yes, the three branches of government, they exist for a reason. So I agree with you, Darren. People wanting to leave is a symptom of how we are failing on so many levels, and we have to put it on lack of productivity on the three branches of government. I agree, but the community also has to be held accountable. The community members are the ones that vote them in. The community members keep them in. We need to go to PTA meetings. We need to show up to town halls. When they're not doing their job, we need to call them out on it. Nakia says, I know I could live here as a retiree, but not with small children with absolutely nothing to do. Hey, that's fair. And I get exactly why you say that too. When you're retired, you're slower, things move slower, and that's fine for you. So I get it. Miss Harris says, I don't ask my children. I tell them we're going, and they better be in that ride. I make family activities. I must participate, or I'm giving lines. Lines? Me about that in a while. She giving lines. As for time, I'm still winging that. Some days I have time for me, and some days I don't. Also, I have some very supportive cousins and people who step in so I can get some sort of me time. See, the village. Right now, there is a rolling blackout today. Oh man. Oh man. Wapa be whopping. So I don't disagree with the fourth branch concept. I think people have been worn down over a long period of time. Correct. That happens. Burnout happens. And if you just tuned in, the four branches is basically something that I said. It's the legislative, executive, judicial, and the community members, the peoples. We have to hold all four branches of government accountable, because the people gotta hold themselves accountable. They can't just be saying, you ain't do this, you ain't do that. What about what we're doing, because especially in a small island setting, the government, it includes you because they're your neighbors too. A lot of them, they live around you. But yeah, so thanks for tapping in with us. Different day. We got some. We gonna take a break to pay some bills. We're gonna be right back with the second segment of our topics. Peace. Talking until you're blue in the face, nothing will be done. It's blatant. The feds need to come now. I thought the feds were already there. Ain't the feds actively investigating? I don't know. Like, yeah. You good, Ellison. Thank you. I got Peter. All right, chat. Yeah. I'm gonna put y'all on hold for a little bit. Give me a minute. We'll be right back. I tell Aya we got DJ yessai, my boy, and Raven Scott. She coming. Give me a second. We'll be right back. Chat, I still let it. Hold on. All right. So yeah, I got Raven on the line. I try and get everything hooked up right now. So I got a couple of topics, and I hope that these topics that they're ready for it. And I hope DJ I want to get to know you, my friend. Yeah, DJ SI, you're kind of a mystery to me, and I didn't realize it until like I was thinking, I was like, me and the man cool enough, but I don't really know much about him. Like I know he's from home, but what do I know where you stand? I know that this guy is a cool dude. I know he got a lot of jobs, he got a lot of gigs. He got have about 27 businesses. But but what you working on it? but what do the people really know about DJ SI? So I got some questions. And Raven, say hi to the people. You know they love your voice.
Hi guys.
Ah,
Thank you.
now I'm about to act up now. All right, let me see what the chat's saying. So my man say, yeah, but the feds, they're gonna take time. The feds are already home, aren't they? Nakia says more arrests need to be made and more cell phones need to be taken. Isn't there an issue with some gray key and cell phones already at the house?
Yeah, I think there's like, was it 7 cell phones taken?
7?
I think it was something like that. It was at least 5.
Diane says, in the meantime,
that whole clean sweep where they took Parks and Rec phone, they took the the old commissioner or the old they had the didn't they take Port Authority's phone? They took a lot of phones.
Diane says, in the meantime, we're dealing with government officials who is telling us indirectly that they don't care. Nakia says, yeah, I could imagine a lot of files need to be looked through. Darren said, yeah, he is kind of a mystery talking about sight.
Well, Manitos is kind of one of those keys because they were hired to deal with these government phones and whatnot. So they trusted whether you want to look at it as a criminal or whether you want to look at them as a snitch, they trusted either one of those angles with all the public or at least CIPD's information.
They were saying that yessai voice is low. Is it better now? Talk to me.
You hear me? Can you hear me?
Should be clear now. All right.
Yeah.
So we got about 30 seconds. He says better. We got about 30 seconds and we go into another break. When we come back, I got a couple topics. The first one is going to be, what is a local business? All right. So if you're in the chat, what is your idea of a local business? Think about that. Sit on it for a little bit. All right. And then
I already got the answer.
You got that.
I already got it.
You got the answer. All right. Well, for those out there in Radio Land, go ahead and sit on that question. We'll be right back with a different day with Joe. What's the answer, sir? What's the answer? What is
you want to give it for the chat?
Well, you're gonna have to say it twice. What is a local business? And by that, let me clarify the question, right? When I ask what is a local business, is because I don't know if y'all know what's going on with former Senator Janelle Sorrow. I'm following her and she's in the middle of some things and it gets really messy. But the last thing that was going on that I saw was a quote unquote local business. What is it? St. Thomas Social. She was
that guy, the Mr. McClafferty, whose brother is a criminal. He has a whole bunch of criminal family members who are serving jail time, or at least was. I don't know if he was released, but close around COVID, they got jailed, and he was in fraud. The brother looks just like him. But yeah, F that guy. I'm gonna just say it flat out.
Okay.
And I'm glad you brought up this topic because I read all about his family, one of the last shows that I did. So if you want to get any more information about his family's wrongdoings, and they all like to name their businesses after themselves. And Mr. McClafferty with Mac Financial is currently under a lawsuit for running a Ponzi scheme out of St. Thomas.
Oh boy.
And I think it was Mac Financial, or I can't remember the name. But yeah, I don't like this guy at all.
Well, I personally, I don't know him. Obviously, I don't like how we've enabled people to talk to our people the way that he is, right? And those what's going on, St. Thomas, St. Croix, St. John groups, they're so toxic to me. I can't be in them because, listen, for me, that's family. You check that. Sorrow is homegrown and she's about her people. Say what you want about her policies and whatnot. What she is for is us. And that's family. And for me, I'm forever on my Godfather thing. You don't take sides against the family ever. Me and you could disagree. We could call each other names. We could talk bad about each other. You can't.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm on.
Yeah, me too. Me as well. It's the same thing. I'm sure, Raven could probably, I don't want to put words in her mouth, but, being just family oriented is like, listen, I can talk about my brother all I want to talk about.
Exactly.
You can't talk about my brother.
That's 100% a fact. And even as I was like looking at that story and following it, I think the thing that disturbs me is that those types of business owners are not particularly looking for local business. What they're banking on is the business of those who move down to the islands, who are, they don't look like us. They don't sound like us. They're retired. They have the money. So they're always going to be fronting these businesses and giving them more money, right? Mm-hmm. When the truth of the matter is, the way that he responded was very childish. If I want to be just 100% honest with you, the woman never even specifically said, what dish she had that was disgusting. She never specifically said anything rude or besides saying that she just didn't care for it. And if you're truly an entrepreneur, if you're truly, especially a restaurateur, then you know that, everybody is not going to like your food. You're not going to reach every single audience. But what became clear to me is that he is a very sensitive man who definitely goes on tangents and is used to never being held accountable for it. And I really do think that if more people held those types of folks accountable for their actions, that they would stop doing the madness. If people boycotted that business, then they would stop this madness. But until that happens, until their pockets hurt, they will never stop.
Facts.
They won't stop.
Facts. Darren says, let's see. He said that the voice is better now. A local business is a business rooted from the community that employs local people. He goes deep with it. What do you think of Jamal Burke says someone that was born and raised on island? What do you think?
Here's the thing, and I want to just give perspective, right? I always say this to y'all. I am a mainlander. I was not born nor raised in St. Croix. However, I have a deep love and respect for the island, its people, and all of that, right? So sometimes I do think to myself, being a Cruisian, like, I wonder how I would be received if I wanted to do something on island. I wonder, even though I look like, we look like each other, right?
Yeah.
But still, it's like, I wonder how I would be received. I wonder how, people would take to me. And while most will probably say, well, I would have never known that you were not a mainland. I mean, I'm sorry, you weren't cruising unless you started talking, right? The truth of the matter is, I respect the people in the place that I came to. And I feel like that's just a whole nother difference. It's that a lot of people that come down to the predominantly palm colored and much older. And they're only speaking from the experience that they've had. So when people want an actual local experience, even when local people speak up in these groups, these people really get mad. They really get upset. And I'm like, how can y'all get upset at the local people? If the people are telling you, hey, you shouldn't go here. Hey, you shouldn't do this. Hey, you shouldn't do that. How can you get mad? It blows my mind, the level of disrespect. And again, I think that if enough pressure was put on our local officials for them to step up, that it would be some sort of change. But because the people are not putting the pressure on the local officials that have been elected, that is also, again, another reason why a lot of people if we're going to, from a PR perspective, that gentleman was, going back to the original topic, 100% wrong.
100% wrong. And he definitely should have put out an apology. He definitely should have, said, well, maybe I need to brush up on what I know for me to be a better person. But again, most people are only functioning off of the money that goes in their pockets. And unless you hurt their pockets, they don't care. They just don't. They won't.
So Lima is calling me. Can I call you back? Can I get you guys right back on the line in a moment?
Yeah.
All right.
Peace.
Peace. I'll be right back, chat.
Years in prison.
All right, we back.
Until he snitched on Google, whether you want to say that he's either a criminal that was entrusted with the CIPD information when it comes to cell phones and whatnot, whether you believe that he is a criminal or a snitch because he was hired by the government, started snitching on Google, that caused the $500 million that Google had to pay for not checking on their ad space or being able to advertise for pharmaceutical.
All right. Sorry, chat. I just got a call from the boss. Sorry, like he trying to get me in trouble. Darren says, Raven, tell us.
But I hope I clarified that point.
Don't clarify it. Well, we gonna find out.
Haven't discussed, but I know that boss lady will get calls from other people who will listen and are like, he's on the air talking about, and they don't listen to what I say, and then I have to explain what I say and be like, oh, well, that makes sense because I would do that.
Anyway, we back, and Darren saying, Raven, tell us about Detroit. Did Detroit suffer from government corruption or inefficiency? Detroit has recovered nicely over the past 10 years. What led to the recovery? Dang, that's a deep one.
So it's a couple of different things that led to the recovery here. If anybody is familiar with Detroit politics, we did have Kwame Kilpatrick, who was a young upcoming politician in the state of Michigan. He became the mayor of the city of Detroit. He ended up dealing with a lot of charges. I believe it was like over. I don't want to give a number, but he was.
We got about 25 seconds before we come back.
What you said?
We got about 25 seconds before we're back on the air.
Okay, well, basically, he went to jail, was sentenced 27 years, didn't serve all of them. Trump pardoned him, and he's out. But we did a lot of rebuilding to get back to a decent place in the city. And it took the people and it took the local government to get it there. So.
Yep. Thanks for joining us on a different day with Ja here on 101.3 Row FM. If you just tuned in, the conversation we're on, I had posed a question. We have DJ Yessai and we have Raven on the line, and I had posed a question to them and to you and to those in the chat. What is considered a local business? What is considered a local business? Now, you may be thinking, Ja, why would you ask me such a question? The reason why I'm asking is because I just realized we all don't consider a local business the same way, right? Considering what's been going on in the VI Facebook sphere with our former Senator Janelle Sorrow and back and forth with not only her colleagues and peers, but the owners of St. Thomas Social. It makes me wonder, what is a local business these days? I also seen a meme about it, but that's a lot less classy. So what is a local business? Darren says a local business is a business rooted from the community that employs local people. Jamal Burke says someone that was born and raised on island. Darren says it seems like it's money over morals in St. Thomas.
I think it's anywhere. I think that's anywhere.
Yeah, money talks. Money talks. Let's keep it real. When you have money, when you do business, and there's people that have money, they control a lot, and we have to be honest about that. So when it's a local business, you're a local person, you're probably working, you want to start a business, you may not have that type of money to jump into a business. But who does? People that come from the mainland usually, or come from other places. And that's what we were trying to talk about. So once you move to the Virgin Islands, and then you get your business, are you then a locally owned business? Is that how it works?
So technically, if you look up the definition of what a local business is, it is any company that provides goods or services to a local population, right? Or a company or store that operates in a specific neighborhood, town, or city, serving the needs of the people who live or work by. So So that's technically the definition of a local business.
Thank you. Thank you. And it looks like Julie Filbert, aka Salty Locks. Hey, thanks for tapping in. Big up Salty Locks. A business that caters. Say what?
They had a real cool jingle.
Julie says a business that caters to the local community and employs locals. So now you really got to hold them to a standard now. You can't just own the business. You have to cater to the local community and employ locals.
I like to give my definition, and it may not be like, but it is definitely at least a little bit for thought, right?
Okay.
Because whether you want to call it fortunate or unfortunate,
Mm-hmm.
you don't need a passport. You don't need a work visa. As soon as you move and come down and
okay.
Flat out, that it is what it is. Now, with the businesses that one of my mother is a business owner in the Virgin Islands, and it has a part of the slogan natively owned and locally trusted.
Like
one
that.
of the contingencies, and I'm glad you spoke a little bit about it, one of the contingencies with the passing of the recreational use of cannabis and the cannabis businesses, when it was first brought to the table and about to be signed, you had to at least live on island for 5 years to be considered for your license. Right before, in order for it to go through, I'm not sure if it was Brian himself, but somebody made it a clause that you only had to be a resident of the island for 1 year. So now, just like you said, who has the money to pay a $25,000 license fee, and really $10,000 up front, and whether or not you get approved or not, you still lose the $10,000 for your application. I'm not sure, especially with the salaries of what's being paid on island, what natively owned or native Virgin Islander has that type of cash ready to just lose, just in case one of their dots are not dotted on the I's, or one of their T's isn't crossed, to be able to just lose $10,000 and start the process again.
Right.
So I believe that was a mistake. It should have been kept to 5 years, and I'd rather, it wouldn't pass without that contingency.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, local is, as soon as you change and you get that Virgin Islands resident card, you are a local. Are you native? Absolutely not.
So what do you think, chat? To those listeners out there, what do you think? I personally, because me and Nisi, we talk all the time, and a while back, I had pitched the idea that, if I don't want to run for Senate, but if I ever was running for Senate or governor or something, I would make it that you need to reside in the Virgin Islands for at least 3 to 5 years. That seems fair. You want to open up the market to locals first. I would think that would be common sense. But, to some, I ain't calling no names, that ain't me. To some, money is money. And once your money is green or your money is long, you belong. I'm not on that. I think that if you believe in tourism and that's the thing that you're into, right? Wouldn't it make more sense to invest in the community and the infrastructure first, make the place livable and inhabitable for people living there? Then the tourists will come. I would think that if the environment itself is a prosperous one and they have stuff for locals to do, tourists would want to come and see it themselves. Instead, we're seeing a Virgin Islands which is becoming uninhabitable for locals. But we want to extend money to bring tourists and other people from all over but we don't want to put that same money back into Airport Road. If you ever driven on Airport Road, then you understand the roller coaster I'm talking about. And that's what you're going to introduce the tourists that you want to come. That's what you're going to introduce them to the island with. Unless they're flying into some private landing strip somewhere that I don't know about, they're going to have to come through there.
Taking words from my great co DJ, you got to give Jack his jacket.
Yeah.
Because I remember, not only would you have potholes on Airport Road, but back in the day, until they got that landfill under control, it was a horrible smell you would feel. As soon as you landed on the island of St. Croix,
yeah, it's true.
Your nose would be like, wait, where am I right now?
But I also want to add something too, right?
Mm-hmm.
We say that, hire locally, but I would like to advocate to treat locals better when it comes to their work. We know that, tourists are not easy to deal with. We know that restaurants have very high turnovers. We know that sometimes it is a hit or miss. We get that. But for the amount that it costs to live on island in a decent place to make decent money, a lot of the local workers do not get paid the way that they should get paid. They are overworked and they are underappreciated. Like, if we're going to be for real, if we're going to call a spade, let's really call a spade. I've met a lot of wonderful people who work in the hospitality industry. But the problem is, again, in some of these places, the owners of these businesses take for granted the local person. They take for granted the climate that they build for their business. So then it makes it hard to want to stay there. And if we're going to be for real, a lot of people work either for multiple restaurants, multiple bars, multiple places, and it's hard for you to really plant your feet somewhere where you don't feel like you have the chance to truly move up and be great. In some of these places, some people have worked for years, and a management position will open up, and they don't want to give it to somebody that's local. They would prefer to give it to somebody who is a mainlander, and then turn around and then say, oh, well, it's okay. You can just try for next time. It's quite ridiculous if you ask me. And this is coming from somebody who, my family, our background, my mom was a part of a local. She was a part of the group that said, you know what, listen, we all in this. We're going to vote for this. We're going to stand up for ourselves, right? And I'm not saying to go on a tirade. This is not what I'm saying is not for the person that picks a job, goes to that job, looks like they have been sucking on sour lemons all day. This is not the person I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about the hard-working, deserving people that are on said island that deserve better than what they're getting. And then they're always met with some sort of excuse as to why they don't get more. Like, that's the sad part to me. So if we're going to talk about, hire locals, hire locals, but be fair. I wonder for all of these businesses, when is the last time you had a very brutally honest team meeting where somebody told you something you didn't like, but you didn't fire them because they told you something that you didn't like? You literally sat back and really heard what they were saying. How many of you have businesses that you truly can say you cater to the native people of the islands of St. Croix, St. Thomas, or St. John? Let's be very clear here. A lot of you don't do that. And then when you do it, it's only to a certain extent. It's only during the season when season is not up, right? So when it's low, when you need money, you depend on the native people. But during the season where, people come over to the islands to get away while it's cold, it's like, well, forget the native people. Let's just go ahead and cater to all the people that are just giving us money. So it's I feel like it's a conundrum of things that really needs to change. But I think that more business owners need to have accountability meetings with their workers to really get the gist of how their workers feel and really take into consideration what they're saying versus just throwing it away because they feel like they're not on their level, if that makes sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense. And let me tap in on that too, because the bartending, hospitality industry and all of that stuff that's one of the reasons why I removed myself from any of the what's going on groups, because locals will be in the groups and they're telling their story. Some see it as complaining, but it's their story. It's their life. It's what they're living in. I don't think that the complaints should stay on social media, but that's how they choose to express themselves. And you will have non-locals basically trying to tell the locals what they need to do in order to make money, right? And one of them is to go to a local business and bartend. And then they start talking about this seasonally. I made this amount of money and this and that and the third. My bills have never been seasonal. They've never only just worked for 6 months. All my bills are monthly and they don't take no breaks. So with that, I've never had a seasonal bill in my life, but they're pitching bartending as like the solution. So all of us could just go to bars for 6 months and we good. Okay. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's been a couple bars that there's been an outcry because they choose not to hire local or hire native, however you want to look at it. But there is, because I'm an Aquarius, we will Aquarius.
We go aqua.
So
okay.
One thing that I will say though, right? I feel like, Jai, you work in the States.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked in the States, and I've been in a job that if you are a minute late, then you might as well just take the full hour off, because they're going to charge you as an hour and write you up as a certain number of points, like you were an hour late.
Yeah.
I feel like people that have been born, raised, and never had a job or a responsibility outside of the island have a certain type of movement or look at it's like, well, I was only 10 minutes late, so I could, it's all right. Or I'm just gonna call in sick, and then you got, pictures on the beach while the manager or owner is really trying to work with you, but now the owner can't do payroll because the owner now has to work the register that you're being hired on for X amount. You know what I mean? I've seen that from both ends. And just looking on Reddit, and there was a non-local person talking about, hey, I'm thinking about starting off in a business, and another non-local person said, don't hire local. And the reasons that he said it were some reasons that I've seen as just the problems with local business owners. And when I mean local, I mean native business owners that have this certain type of problem when it comes to, listen, I got the heart, I want to make sure everybody has an opportunity, but they don't show up for work. Or when they do show up for work, man, I'm either leaving early, or a lot of different things that end up happening that makes it tough to even defend. So just like I say, the government is a reflection of us in the way we move with each other. I feel like it's the same way with working together and just making sure that we bring that by, not just by us, but by our employers as well.
Correct. And speaking of local businesses, do you currently have a local business that you're having trouble marketing or promoting it? Well, let us here at Road do it for you. We have great rates and great packages. We could get you in touch with the boss lady. She could go over all of that for you. So let Road do the work. Now, let me get to some of these comments, right? Because I don't want these people feel like I'm ignoring them. And Jamal Burke has one that I definitely want to go in on. All right. So Julie Filbert say she's online today, so she's listening. She usually in the water. Darren says, yes, I rubbing off on Raven with her reading definitions. You've been up there for a while, so yeah, I expected that. Darren felt that a 10K was done on purpose to keep locals from applying. That is not Row FM saying that is true or factual. It's just a feeling that Darren George has, all right? We have no idea who's been in the ears of the policymakers. The cannabis board and process was flawed from the jump. Trickle-down economics do not work, but it's the default option that our government takes. Anybody who understands economics knows the backbone of any economy is local businesses and the middle class. Do you know the type of audacity it requires to say you want to move to a place, open a business in that place, and not hire people that are born, raised, have families, and have lived there all their lives? Do you know the type of audacity that requires? Do you know that's an apartheid type of vibe?
Colonial. That's colonial.
Okay, correct. It's colonialism. It's colonialism. That's the word. Apartheid is when they try to separate, but we ain't gonna go into that. For those who don't know what trickle-down economics is, it's giving a large business benefits such as tax breaks so they can come down and employ local people, which we know has never worked. Jamal Burke said, I agree with Raven because majority of the time locals be leaving good jobs because we locals don't get appreciated enough. Even the good jobs these days, it don't look like they paying for real. Now, this is the one that I want us to go in on because it goes and touches on the question that I had anyway. Most folks, this is Jamal Burke, most folks come here and really don't have no respect for we locals, but want us to support them. Now, can you blame someone for not respecting your house if you let them come to your house and disrespect it?
No, you can't blame them because that behavior was never corrected, right? Where there was no checking, where there was no correction, you gave this person a path to do, to act, and to be. I do want to be very clear and again say that I believe a part of the problem is that a lot of people come down here on vacation and create in their mind what they view the reality of St. Croix to be, instead of really digging down, doing research, and really getting in tune with what this island stands for. And I think that that's a bigger part of the problem. While it's so easily accessible for somebody just to become a Crucian, right? The truth of the matter is that just like you have to take a test in order for you to become a United States citizen, I think that there should be very much so an educational piece before somebody is able to become a resident of St. Croix, St. Thomas, or St. John. And I am not saying this in a sense that, everybody comes down here with the same ill intent. My thing is, the more educated someone could be about where they're moving to, the more sound a decision could be made about them coming down and the way that they may view the place that they're moving to, right? So when you think about these retirees who say, well, I'm just looking to retire, I don't need anything, I don't want anything, and I'll respect, whatever it is that St. Croix brings, all right, cool. But when you have people come down to the island and they're really not respecting the local people, I'm sorry, I want to stop saying local. I want to get better at saying the native people of the island, where they're not good at respecting the native folks of the island. And then they want to come down and bring mainland behavior down to St. Croix. I feel like that's a bigger part of the problem. And again, it never goes corrected. So, they just say, well, I can do whatever I want and who's going to check me?
No, let me pose this question to the chat and to you guys. Do you believe that we accept too much disrespect? I personally love bullfoot soup.
Well, I will say, yes. However, I think there's certain levels, or I think each island has a certain level of disrespect that they're willing to take. I think St. Croix is more of the island that we still hold on, and you better come correct because it's not going to be as easy versus a St. Thomas. One of the Facebook pages that you're talking about, I believe it's What's Going On St. Croix. There was a post that was made, and I ended up talking about it on the Bush Tea in the Morning show. A post was made, and somebody sarcastically said, "What's going on St. Croix? We have 0 cruise ships, but St. Thomas currently has, like, I don't know if it was 6 or something like that." And I saw and this is something that we definitely have to watch in St. Croix. The majority of people that were responding in that post and were saying, good, we like it this way, we don't want it to change, happen to be people who are not relying on income brought by the local economy, meaning that they're either working and their jobs are abroad and they're working remotely, or they have retirement money and they personally came to the island of St. Croix to escape whatever hustle and bustle life that they were living that they still get. And I made a post about it. I said, you know what? For everybody that is not that feels like it's in their lane, how local economies if it goes back home, Maryland, where people were posting. Well, let me tell you, every native person ended up calling me. I think he called me an idiot or something like that. And I looked at all his posts. Yesterday, I screenshotted all of his Trump rhetoric. It was very interesting about, and very not surprising who supported political. And this person also ended up in Frederickson taking pictures of youth that were swimming in the Frederickson pier that were hanging around and they called kids thugs and put their pictures out. So I responded to him. Said, "Wait, aren't you posted these kids' pictures and called them thugs?" And that's when he went off, and then ended up deleting his post. But trust me, I got you. I'll be addressing you when it's time to address you. But you know, there's a lot of people that want to dictate and control and keep the cruising economy, which locally, you know, it's non-existent when it comes to progression at the same place. But we don't need to sell ourselves short. And I will with the St. Thomas social situation, and I plan to say it on my show, and it's not to stand. So I would put the disclaimer: it is not to stand for the Bush Tea in the Morning show, nor the A Different Day with John. But my pressure is to any of the DJs that are locally and supposed to be natively on the soil. If you cross that picket fence line, you should be and will be called out. And if you think you can come over and have a great, easy time crossing that picket fence line and then coming over to St. Croix, I don't care if it's me by myself standing outside the place of businesses telling people not to go in, or me, you know, whoever's going to ride with me over to that gig. It's not going to be easy for you to do so. Like, it's not going to go unsounded off, if that's the right word.
Okay. Getting into good trouble with DJ yessai. Getting into good trouble. I like it. Darren says, I will say with over 10 years in management to not excuse them for what? I will say with over 10 years in management and not excuse them for only to hire non-locals. We haven't done a good job with preparing young adults to be hireable and have the right skills and temperament to be a good performing employees. Crucian time is one of these examples. I agree with you because unfortunately we haven't been the best at investing in the future. We don't even invest enough in the now. That's the problem. Ms. Harris says.
Can I add to what you're saying really quick though?
Sure.
It's not just investing time and space into this younger generation that's coming. The truth is there are some people that are older that teach their bad habits to the young people that come in doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then they say, oh, it's not a big deal. Come 10 minutes late. Come an hour late. We close up 30 minutes early, even though we know the sign says that we close at 4, right? These are things that people choose to do. And one thing about it is that you have to control and maintain the atmosphere. I'm very big about people and purpose. So if I'm going to tell you something, I'm not going to tell it to you and not do that same thing myself. I'm not going to tell you to have integrity if I don't have that myself. And I think that that's one of those things that, again, as a business owner, you set the tone for what's going on. Business owners, when is the last time that you've done a temperature check again for your business? Outside of just believing what your manager said. When is the last time that you sent in a secret shopper? When is the last time you just popped up without anybody knowing? And again, employees, here's my question for you. When is the last time you've been brave enough to have that tough conversation without being scared about losing your job, right? When is the last time that you held yourself accountable for things that you weren't doing well? I think that it's both sides of the fence that need correction. I just think that at some point, somebody has to be the bigger person to step up to actually do it and start it and keep it moving in a positive direction versus just being complacent with the discord that's currently happening right now.
That's what's up. Thank you, Raven. And if you love the voices that you've heard today, keep in mind that Same Difference and Friends 2, the live podcast show, is happening September 27th and 28th. Myself, DJ Yessai, and Raven will be a part of it. She's actually flying from all the way from Michigan to be a part of this thing. You don't want to miss it. And thank you for tuning in to another episode of A Different Day with Ja. You can get your tickets from Eventbrite, Same Difference and Friends too. Go ahead and follow Roll FM on Facebook and IG. Go ahead and follow Same Difference. It's just Same Difference. Be here every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. You can join the conversation live. We love you guys. Peace. We out.
Peace.
Woo!
You almost did for 1 hour. This ain't enough.
Yeah, I away like, oh girl, no man. I might need to add a 30 minutes something.
Yeah, man. You know what I mean? That thing, comment social,
It's a touchy subject,
really
but
crazy.
I am more upset, and the chat's still listening. I feel some type of way about the fact that we allow ourselves to be disrespected. Like the way I picture it, that's like somebody coming into your house, your sister did it, and he start talking trash to your sister. You see?
Yeah.
It ain't supposed to. And then you get locals really looking at this thing like, what he said wrong. Bro, don't talk about my bullfoot soup no more. Don't talk about sorrow no more. Matter of fact, we shouldn't even need a conversation to say, I ain't frequenting your business no more. We should not even have to get together to say that. Once you disrespect one, you disrespect all, we ain't going for it. And it done.
Yeah. I feel the same way. And like I said, I believe he has different days on different things. I'm gonna be paying attention to who that is because as I know, myself, I couldn't bring myself. I don't care what it is. Hey, I got X amount of money for you. Come now. I'm not going. There's no way. There's absolutely no way I would play anything, and nobody should play any song. You have to playlist, and your play should be whack. And if anybody ever DJs there, they should use whatever following they had that brings the crowd to say, "We are not going here anymore."
If I on the live, please do me a favor. Go ahead and share the live, please. Let's get the word out about this show and that the platform is available for people to tap in. We're working on the call-in feature, like I said, but right now we got a chat, and the chat is dope. So I appreciate you guys really talking. I know everybody. You may be working, you may be on the beach, thank you for listening regardless. Thank you for voicing your opinions and adding to the conversation. Francine Brown said, Karen Dickinson, I must agree with most of your comments. One that describes a local business is on who not only hire local, but make sure the monies are circulated in this economy. Second, we as locals with businesses, we must treat our assets, which is our people, the best. I love that. So that we can be able to have the best service to those who we serve. Third, there is 4 branches of government. We, the people, are the first branch, and we don't take the position and power serious. Ooh.
Yeah, and I do challenge what it is to be local versus the word native, because like I said, and there's people that have been, living on islands that you've never seen, or have been a resident of the Virgin Islands that you haven't seen, that's been a resident for 10, 20 years. There's people that have children that have the same mindset that, do not invest in the native sector or hire a native sector. There's people every day in that what's going on still in the blank island Facebook group that go on that, if a horse gets tied up on the land that's close to mine, I'm gonna just untie the horse and let the horse go, because nobody should have a horse on my land. And then just let the horse go in the street, untied, do all this different type of stuff. And if anything happens, which could, possibly endanger, coming up around a curve and there's a horse standing right in the middle of the road that may not know any better. Now that one decision has endangered whoever may be on that road, your aunt, your grandmother, your grandfather, your nephew, that could get into a terrible accident just because you don't agree with horses.
Could you imagine, right? I just tried to put it into perspective a little bit in my mind in a way that I could relate. Could you imagine if Row FM had welcomed me to the team, right? And the first thing I do is start bashing Row FM.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, could you imagine? Like, that's crazy to me. Or those people who they get welcomed in and then they start talking bad about individuals in the organization, or you know what I'm saying? Like, those are toxic individuals. But on this level, we can't see it for what it is. I don't understand it.
No, that's insane. I think, or I would hope, right, that it's still his words that yet to really take its course.
Mm-hmm.
I do expect in a day tonight that eventually he'll have to get his word back to Ohio, where it's from. And really, he's on his way. Like I said, he's facing multiple lawsuits for his quote unquote financial firm for running a Ponzi scheme. So I do believe that feds take their time, just because the guys roam free. Feds will take when I say take their time, I'm talking about 2-3 years of building a case before they lay the hammer down. And just when you think that, I can say because I haven't been indicted yet, right when you get comfortable, there is somebody that really that went home, put his hat on his hat rack, kissed his wife, and said, "We got him. We're going after him tomorrow." So that's one thing. I know he may think he's comfortable, and my thing is, if you're already on the Fed's radar, why go after and think and just taunt government officials like there isn't cases pending against them? It's crazy to me.
Yeah, man. It's all crazy. Jerica asked him what we talking about today. Girl, you come in and the last shower rain. The jam done. We were just,
Running back.
we were just kind of finishing out the conversation, but today we had several topics, but we were talking about what is a local business and the situation with St. Thomas Social and Janelle Sorrow. And but the conversation's over. Still share this live so people could see it, though. We'd appreciate it. Darren said, "Ja, we still ain't get to know yessai. He's still a mystery." The man, he get away again. That's all I can say. He get away, and he's so smooth with it. I didn't realize it until I look, and it's like, dang, I only got about 10 minutes left. All right.
And the thing is, me and Darren are cousins. That's crazy.
What? Darren got a ton of family, man. This real, like real cousins, not play cousins?
You know about anybody on St. Croix is halfway cousins, but yeah, we share a few cousins.
Damn,
Absolutely.
I did not know that. Yeah, so
Right.
Darren, he should be the one filling us in on you.
Yeah, I guess.
Hey, but I gonna have to have you on the show, cause we're gonna do that interview. Cause I'm like, yeah, I know his character. I don't know who he is. I know the man, but I don't know the man. Or the partner with the business that needs to become a phoenix. Wait a minute. Wait, what does that mean?
He needs to rise from his own ashes.
I hope she ain't trying to say he need to get button. I hope she trying to say we got button. Guys, that ain't we. But thanks for showing up, chat. Next week, Sunday, between 4 to 6 p.m. Tune in. All right. Oh, so you gonna be back for the Bush Tea Morning Show or no?
Not tomorrow. I will be back on Tuesday.
All right. I hear
I'm
that.
actually traveling back. So.
You won't be back until Tuesday. Hopefully, DC gonna take over tomorrow, and then the gang will be back together. But I take it easy.
Hey, you too.
Have a safe trip. I hope you really enjoyed them crickets. All right.
Great.
Peace.
Hey, bye, guys.
Bye.